All right, thank you. At this time, I'd like to reconvene our regular session. With that, we are going to consider ratifying collective bargaining agreements for the Employee Association. And with that, Robert, can you give us the staff report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. The Employees Association is the group of employees that work primarily in public works, city hall, parks and recreation. It's our non-police, non-fire, non-management group. And the membership has voted to ratify the collective bargaining agreement that's before you. It includes the implementation of a new pay structure. As it stands today, each of the positions within the Employees Association essentially has their own pay scale. And they have a minimum and a maximum. And then depending upon the job and what's occurred over the years with new hires or negotiations, it could take anywhere from 4 steps to 9 or 10 steps to reach the maximum. And so we contracted with HR Answers to take a look at our compliance with the Pay Equity Act. And so we took a look at all of our job descriptions, all of the character of work to make sure that if we had 2 employees that were doing the same character of work, that they would be paid at the same level as required by state law. It turns out that we only had 2 employees that had the exact same characteristics of work, and none of those are in this group. And so what we did with this is we created a 7-step schedule. There's 4% between the steps, which is our current performance-based increase, and their grade levels. And we also grouped some of the employees together where it made sense. So we reduced the number of pay classifications, if you will, as opposed to having 27 or 30 different positions, each with their own pay scale. We grouped a number of those together. And so at implementation, what we do is the first thing that we do is apply a 5% COLA, which is actually a little bit less than CPI has been running. But we then also place them in this new pay scale, which will result in not less than a 5% increase, but for some it will be more as we get them aligned. And then over the next 3 years, moving closer to the market. Because for some of these positions, we're pretty close, but for others, we're quite a bit of ways away. And so in order to be able to afford to do this, we've structured a kind of a low-cost implementation working with HR Answers on how to structure the grade movement so that when we get out to 2026, we're much closer to and much more competitive with market, because we really are seeing, particularly in some of our hard to fill positions, that we're not as competitive as we need to be, and we want to be able to attract and retain the best. And so we do need to be competitive. So kind of a snapshot of this is we're looking at, let me grab a piece of paper to make sure I don't say the wrong numbers. So again, at implementation, the cost of living increase is 5%. And then we do that grade alignment, and there will not be step increases in the first year that there would normally be based on performance. So getting them aligned, and then on June 21st of 2024, for this group, there will be a 3% cost of living increase. And then in December of 2024, we would do that grade alignment to move them to that next closer grade. And again, that helps with controlling the costs as we move forward. And then in 2025, 3% COLA, and again, no step increases through this time frame. And then in December of 2025, we would move them to that market grade where we want them to be. And so another benefit of this structure is, I think for a number of our positions, kind of the ceiling for the maximum needs to move farther to be competitive. And so we're pushing that out, but we're doing it in such a way to give us time to continue to increase our revenues as we go forward, as these employees move through. And we think that it's going to really help us with the retention and the attraction. So that's kind of the overall structure of it. There are a few language changes. Our employees in this group, some of them receive certification pay for certain up to 4 certifications if it's something that's used in their job. And it's not a requirement of their job to encourage our employees to go out and get additional skills that the city can benefit from. Those are 30 cents an hour. And in year 2, we're going to move those to 40 cents an hour. It's been a while since we've moved that, and we think that will help. And the other thing that I think is part of, kind of looking after and looking out for our staff is we are adding a new benefit, which is 3 days of bereavement leave if someone in their immediate family passes away. And so that would be something else that we would be doing. They would then be able to also use sick leave, vacation for the time offs that they need in dealing with that type of a tragedy. But that's an additional benefit that we thought was important to add here. And so that's, I think, all of the high points. A copy of the new contract will be placed up in the city manager's office along with the full packet that's up there if members of the public want to come in and take a look at that. And with that, I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you may have.
Will you be providing each of us a copy of the agreement to ratify?
Yeah, we'll get you a copy once they're all signed.
Thank you.
All right, with no more questions for Robert, I will entertain the public comments. Nope. All right. Motion.
I move that we accept and that the city manager be authorized to execute the 3-year collective bargaining agreement between the City of LaGrande and the City of LaGrande Employees Association as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more council discussion before I ask for a vote? With that, all in favor? Aye. Pass. Thank you. And with that,
One of the things that we may do is for the execution, we may actually have the mayor sign this one. I can't remember for sure, but the motion as the council made it is fine. So we'll make sure the right person signs it.
and with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.